And that's how we starting the morning right here on Good Morning Grenada. Hello to you, top of the morning. It's Missy Chrissy in your company, as well as Gary, Mr. Smooth. What's going on, Gary?
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Missy Chrissy. Good morning, Grenada. Good morning. It's a new month, and we are here.
Yeah, man. 24 minutes on to 7 o'clock. Listen, it is a Friday, so it's officially Friday. You know what I mean? It's first day in a month. I know Fisherman Celebration is later on in Guave.
Yeah, that's going to be lit.
It's going to be a good one. Listen, Fisherman Celebration on a Friday, on a month-end Friday in Guave. Listen, that is definitely going to be a good one. So that is definitely going down. But we have a great show lined up for you this morning as well. We're going to be giving you, of course, the morning edition of the news right here on K105.5 FM. And we have some good conversation for you, especially surrounding what went on yesterday. You know, we had the swearing in of ministers of government.
Yeah, can't escape that conversation. Can't do that. So we're going to definitely get into that later on as well. Your phone calls are welcomed. And folks on the live right about now, welcome. Oswin, good morning to you. One of the first to show up on the live this morning. And all those just tapping in right about now, welcome. Don't forget to share, like, and definitely comment. We'll be, of course, checking out your comments and sharing it with the rest of the viewers and listeners this morning. It's a little bit overcast in my neck of the woods.
Okay, good stuff. I have no idea what it is because I'm in a studio right now.
Yeah, you are really boxed in.
I'm boxed in. I have no window to outside where I am, but on my way here, it was a little overcast, but I was seeing the blue skies coming in. So let's see what today is going to bring. But of course, you know, we keep you updated and give you that weather forecast. So that's coming up at 7 o'clock. So there's reasons to keep it locked right here on Good Morning Grenada. In terms of your updates of COVID-19 status in Grenada from the Ministry of Health and Social Security, as of the 29th of June, 14 new confirmed cases, 5 hospitalizations. Those 5 are all moderately ill. 99 tests were done on that day. And 18 recoveries. That's new recoveries. 0 new deaths. Active cases stand at 153. All right. So that's it from the Ministry of Health and Social Security. Stay safe out there. All right.
17 new cases.
Sorry?
17 new cases?
No, it's 14.
14. Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Anything else you want to?
What is the total cases right now?
153. Anything else you want to check? I find you. It's on the screen. I said it. What else you need?
They're behind time. I can't see the screen in live time.
I understand. Yeah.
Oh, no, it has popped up on my screen.
Right. So the word for today is debunk. All right. Debunk. That is DEBUNK. Debunk. All right. To debunk something such as a story, theory, or idea is to show or expose the falseness of it. All right. So let's use debunk in a sentence. The article thoroughly debunks the notion that life exists on Mars. All right. So that's debunk. The word for today. To debunk something such as a story, theory, or idea is to show or expose the falseness of it. All right. That's your word for the day.
To Peter Simeon, how you doing? Welcome on to the live. Lennox Graham, top of the morning to you. Wendell Richards, great to have you guys. Selwyn, welcome all the way from Antigua and Barbuda. Thank you guys for being on the live. Facebook, you are in the building. And don't forget to share as well. Let's jump inside your thought of the day. With integrity comes respect. And with respect comes people's attention. Others may not always agree, but they will at least give men and women of great character the chance to be heard. All right, that's something coming from Dan Britton. So there you go. You know, respect and integrity goes a really long way. All right, so try that today.
Good stuff. That's definitely a good one. Now, did you know that back in 2011, a physicist at the University of Sydney went viral after he placed a grape in the microwave and filmed the fiery aftermath? And when I say fiery, I mean fiery. And oddly enough, scientists couldn't explain the phenomenon until quite recently. A March 2019 study in Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences reported that the fruity fireball occurs as a result of the loose electrons and ions that cluster to form plasma when grapes get hot. That's really interesting. If you look that up on YouTube, you will see that the grape literally turns into a ball of fire in the microwave. And that's clearly something that you should not try at home.
Yeah, at least you looked it up. I didn't. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's in the link that you included. Yeah, man. So, yeah, that's quite an interesting thing.
Don't play with Mother Nature, yo. Yeah, powerful. All right, let's jump inside your giveaway for today. Who wants to win something special? How about a dinner for two at the Grill Master? You can win right here, right now on Good Morning Grenada. We got a question to ask. No riddle this morning. Sorry about that. All right, but we're going to ask you a question nonetheless, and we invite your phone calls. The lucky winner, once again, gets a dinner for two at the Grill Master. Let's go with it, all right? Here is the question. What are the days of Grill Master pizza specials? What are the days of Grill Master pizza specials? You think you got the correct answer? Let's hear from you this morning.
All right, so the number to call is 435-2041. All right, that's 435-2041, and you can be that winner this morning. Let's see our caller. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning.
Can you just turn down your radio, your TV, your phone, wherever you're listening to us or watching us? All right. So tell us, what's your name? Where are you calling us from?
My name is Rachel. Could I give the answer first?
I'm with you on that one.
Rachel, where you did? I don't want nobody know where you did.
I want to make sure I get it right.
Yeah, you don't want to disclose too much of information unless it's absolutely necessary. I get you.
Very much.
No problem, Rachel. Go right ahead with the answer.
I think Wednesday.
Okay.
I asked for 2 days. Well, there are 2 days, I should tell you. Because what are the days, the question is, of Grill Master pizza specials?
Okay. Well, Rachel, it looks like you're... Okay.
Rachel, it is?
Yeah?
Go ahead. You gave me 1 day, but you might have misheard. We're looking for multiple days, 2 days.
Friday?
All right, Rachel, you've been saved by the wrong answer this morning. You don't have to tell people your business.
All right.
Have a good day. Thanks for calling. All right, y'all, we have to get back into it just after the news, so it gives you some time to figure out the answer, all right? We're going to be back with more right here on Classic 105.5 Hot FM and GBN TV.
Carnival costume? Check. Monday wear? Check. Unlimited premium drinks? Check. Meals with security, cool-down bus, mobile restrooms, plus Vaughn and other international performances? Check, 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 and check. The Carnival Mass Band Nirvana is ready for the road for Spice Mass. Backline, midline, and frontline costumes for men and women. Nirvana is the perfect state of happiness on the road for Carnival Monday and Tuesday. Register now at nirvanaempire.com. Call or WhatsApp us on 407-INFO. That's 407-4636. Instagram at Nirvana Empire. View our costumes at the Nirvana Showroom, La Marquis Complex, Grenada. Play Mass with Nirvana.
They are the few, the strong, the elite. Grenada, get ready as our sporting gladiators go for gold and glory at the World Championships. Follow every throw, stride and jump from July 15th to the 24th. Capture the action daily on GBN television. It's the World Championships. The dream continues.
James is going to win it.
Busy during the week and have no time to go to the credit union to access your loans? Do you wish there were more days available to you? We can help. Our Loan Saturday is back by popular demand this and every Saturday at the GUT Credit Union Grandance Branch, Excel Plaza. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing that you have access to your credit union even on a weekend. So come on in and take advantage of our services every Saturday. GUT Credit Union. It's where you belong.
Prime Minister and Finance Minister Deacon Mitchell says the new cabinet reflects the campaign promises made to Grenadians on the campaign trail. One of the first promises the NDC administration intends to fulfill is the payment of pension to retired officers starting next month. He said that government should not be at war with public servants. Teachers who took to the streets in 2018 and whose salaries were docked as a result will also have their docked wages returned.
As a sign of our commitment to ensuring that peace prevails, that in my capacity as Minister of Finance and subject to the blessings which I believe I will receive from my cabinet colleagues and in particular the new Minister of Education, we will instruct the Ministry of Finance to repay to the teachers of P.T. Martin, Thank you. To repay to the teachers of P.T. Martinique and Carriacou and Grenada the salaries that were docked unjustly from them, and that those payments should be made as early as the end of July 2022.
Prime Minister Mitchell said that the regularization of workers will be addressed, but warned that the level of productivity needs to be raised.
To the senior managers of the public service that we need to put our house in order if we are going to put the nation's house in order. And I've already signaled that we will address the varying discrepancies between unestablished, established, contract, Imani, permanent, and the varying descriptions and job descriptions and varying benefits and non-benefits across all sectors of the public service. But I also want to call on our workers to appreciate that it is by work that we will progress, that it is by work that we will grow and develop our country.
Prime Minister Mitchell says his government begins work on Friday. He promised to drive economic development, to put Grenadians first, and ensure everyone is held responsible and accountable for the trust, faith, and confidence shown in the new government. Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell has announced that his administration will recall all diplomats and review diplomatic appointments. One ambassador has already publicly announced the tendering of a resignation letter to the new Prime Minister. This next report takes a look at what happens when a government changes.
Grenada's ambassador to the Holy See, Mrs. Akima Paul Lambert, announced on Thursday on her social media platform that she has resigned as Grenada's ambassador. Lambert, who was offered the appointment by the former government in 2018, stated in her post that her firm belief is that each government should be given a clean slate with regard to diplomatic appointments. Following the election results on June 24th, she said she prepared her resignation letter and contacted the permanent secretary to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to inform her of her intent. Lambert also indicated that the present Prime Minister of Grenada was also notified of her resignation on June 29th via email. The ambassador's resignation comes not long after speculation that Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell will recall all diplomats and review diplomatic appointments in the coming weeks. Speaking to former PS in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, William Joseph, he explained that the recall of diplomats after a change in government is nothing out of the ordinary, especially when appointments are based on political affiliation.
Let me say that generally there are two classes of diplomats. It is very rare in our case in Grenada that we have career diplomats. That is to say, people who've had a career in the public service. We've tended to have mostly political people being appointed as diplomats. So one could see the implication right away. If your appointment is on the basis of your political allegiance, your political association, it means that when the regime changes, you really have no footing to stand on because you could no longer represent the government, the new government in the country. So normally, these persons, ambassadors, would be recalled. Very seldom people, resign as such.
Mr. Joseph elaborated on the process of becoming a diplomat for Grenada and how it can be affected by the change in government.
Typically, when you recall, it really signals generally that your tour of duty has ended. Because, as you remember what I said, especially if you're a political appointee, there's very little chance that the new administration is going to accredit you to another country because the whole question of trust and so on and the lack of a relationship with the new government so that you can't represent their interests, that is what would dominate the thinking. And so that your tour of duty effectively will come to an end via that route.
Prime Minister Mitchell made it clear during his swearing-in ceremony last Friday that he will bring an end to nepotism and that appointments will be based on merit. For GBN News, Janelle MacDonald.
Story. Prime Minister and Finance Minister Deacon Mitchell says the new cabinet of ministers reflects the campaign promises made to Grenadians while on the campaign trail. Ministers received their instruments of appointment on Thursday afternoon in the presence of scores of citizens who attended the ceremony at the Karani James Athletic Stadium. Chrislyn John was in attendance and has this report.
Just 8 days ago, Grenada held its general elections, which resulted in a 9-6 victory going in favor of the National Democratic Congress. One day following the election, the country's 9th Prime Minister, newcomer to the political field, 44-year-old Deacon Mitchell, was sworn into office. Today, June 30th, 2022, the men and women that will command the various ministries have been named. Now, this is what the country's parliament would look like from tomorrow, following the swearing-in ceremony for the ministers who will man the different ministries. First up, we have Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell. He will serve in his capacity as Minister for Finance, National Security, Home Affairs, Public Administration, Information and Disaster Management. He is followed by Honorable Joseph Andel, who will serve in his capacity as Foreign Affairs Minister, Trade and Export Development. Tevin Andrew, Minister for State, Minister for Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs and Local Government. Honorable Dennis Cornwall, he will serve as Minister for Infrastructure, Public Utilities, Education, Honorable Ron Redhead. He would serve as Minister of State with responsibility for youth and sport in the Ministry of Youth and Sport. Karine Zinel James, Minister for Climate Resilience, the Environment and Renewable Energy. Honorable Philip Telesford, Minister for Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs. Honorable Andy Williams, he will serve as Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation. Honorable Lennox Andrew, he will serve as Minister for Economic Development, Planning, Tourism and ICT. Senator David Andrew, he has been appointed as Minister for Education, Youth and Sport. Senator Jonathan Lacrette, Minister for Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs. Senator Adrian Thomas, he will serve as Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Cooperatives. Senator Claudette Joseph, she has been appointed as Attorney General, Minister with responsibility for legal affairs, labor and consumer affairs. Senator Gloria Thomas, Minister of State in the Ministry of Social Development and Gender Affairs, in the Ministry of Social and Community Development and Gender Affairs. Quince Britton, he has been appointed as Senator in the Parliament of Grenada. The swearing-in ceremony of these new ministers took place just a few minutes ago here at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. This swearing-in ceremony took place 1 week following the June 23rd general election. Reporting from the Kirani James Athletic Stadium, I am Chrislyn John for GBN News.
Now, in this Rena Pear-Thomas report, we'll hear Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell's thoughts on the removal of Queen Elizabeth II as the head of state in Grenada, as well as challenges he sees confronting small island developing states.
Eager eyes in the UK are watching to see if Grenada will soon join the list of Caribbean countries willing to remove Queen Elizabeth II as the country's head of state. This question was put to Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell during a recent interview with BBC's Newsday. He said while this is surely not a time for constitutional reform in Grenada, he sees no reason for having a ceremonial head of state and an elected head of state at the same time.
To be frank, Grenada has had two constitutional referendums in recent times, both of which failed spectacularly. And so I'm not so sure that immediately pursuing such a third constitutional reform at this immediate time makes sense. I can say to you that certainly philosophically, I see no reason for having a ceremonial head of state and an elected head of state. It's really an expensive and, in my view, pointless and cumbersome governance structure for a small island. I'm more interested in constitutional reform, in my view, that makes the government more efficient, less costly, and more responsive to our citizens.
Prime Minister Mitchell says his focus for Grenada at this time as a small country is to let the people's voice be heard on other issues.
We want our voice to say that we too deserve to be economically developed. We too deserve to have a high standard of living. And we too deserve not a figment, but a real opportunity to determine our destiny. And I think too often, even now, a lot of the attitudes towards small island developing states by much larger countries smacks of a colonial mentality.
The Grenadian leader also pointed to some of the challenges facing small island developing states. He says with the little resources smaller countries have, it is difficult for countries such as Grenada to thrive due to some international policies.
The truth is, as small islands, we don't have the resources, we don't have the size, we don't have the economies of scale that very powerful countries have. And so oftentimes we have to resort to creative ways to grow our economy and to make sure citizens have a high standard of living. But many of the policies pursued by the developed world make it extremely difficult for our banking system, restrictions on travel in terms of visa requirements to enter larger countries, makes it very difficult oftentimes for smaller countries to be able to survive, much less compete. And what that means is if it leads to poverty and extreme cases of poverty in the small islands, it destabilizes the society.
For GBN News, I'm Rena Pear-Thomas reporting.
Ultratech gasoline and diesel. Available only at Rubis stations.
Get away from your daily stress with a Grenada vacation at the Coyaba Beach Resort. Coyaba is located on the world-famous Grenada Beach and boasts 5.5 acres of beautiful garden. We offer excellent service, good food and drink, well-appointed rooms and friendly staff in a safe environment. Facilities include 2 restaurants, 2 bars, swimming pool, water sports, tennis, gym and body treatment rooms. Call 473-444-4129.
I want you to control your anger. There's a way to feel better. That's one thing to remember. No matter where you are, you can be a star. Stop and take a deep breath and relax yourself. Take another deep breath and relax it, and relax it. Eliminate violence.
Welcome back. Grenada will be represented once again at the International Brain Bee competition this weekend. Chrislyn John has been speaking with this year's representative.
It is an honor to represent Grenada. It has been a dream to represent Grenada. So I'm glad I worked to got this opportunity.
That was Remy Fress, winner of the National Brain Bee competition and now Grenada's representative at the International Brain Bee competition, carded for July. Having just concluded his CSEC exam, Fress, a student of the Presentation Brothers College, says it is a challenge. However, he is not daunted.
Yes, of course, there's always pressure, a bit nervous as well. It was kind of tough to balance since I had CSEC. So, yeah, I would still give him a best shot. I would never lose confidence. When I was preparing for the national competition, it was a lot easier, I would say, because, the content is a lot easier compared to what I have to know now for the international one. So it was easier in that sense, and it was less content too. So no, I just had to always be studying, always learning. Like, you can never be too ready, because there's always something new that you could learn.
The International Brain Bee promotes students' engagement with neuroscience through a 3-tiered competition at the local, national, and international levels. This year's international competition will run from July 2nd and will take place in France, but held virtually. It will see the participation of more than 13 nations, inclusive of Grenada. Grenada's best brain highlighted some of the areas he will be tested on and explained further that in the live judging session, he will be quizzed along with the other contestants.
There are multiple exams. You have 4 main exams. You have neurohistology, that is like you're saying about the cells and the tissues of the brain. You also have neuroanatomy. You look at the bigger parts of the brain. You have patient diagnosis. Basically, they give you a situation where they will give you symptoms and you'll have to try to diagnose the person with a specific disease. And also, there's a written exam, which is broad and it's multiple choice. So that one is more general. And if I do good enough, there will be a next part, which is a live judging session.
Fress has been assisted by last year's winner of the competition, Jaden Thanisclaus, as well as a physician, all part of his preparation tactics. Gail Blackett, national coordinator, stated her role in getting young Fress to where he needs to be.
We usually get all the materials for him for studying. the books and so, because it's kind of expensive. So we bought the books. Well, we bought what we usually do for the past years. We've been using the same book. So we usually, but I think they have some online stuff like that. And we were able to, myself and Dr. Tanya, together with Colleen, sat down and we created something so that he can have a balance for the studying of his exams. And I got Mr. Williams, Kester Williams, who is the IT for District 5. He will be working along with him on Saturday, because Saturday is the first day of the exams.
Up for grabs is a trophy, $3,000 US, and a chance to choose a university of his choice. Chrislyn John, GBN News.
I'm a cool kid, you're a cool kid, we are cool kids, are you a cool kid?
Try all the Fruit of Cool Kids flavors, it's a whole box of fun.
Away. What are we giving away?
Dinner for two at the Grill Master.
Dinner for two at the Grill Master. Yeah, man, that's exciting.
Grill Master. Yeah, located down there at Wall Street. And of course, they're open for breakfast. So if you are rushing out of the house this morning, fear not, you can still get the best breakfast in the south of the island at the Grill Master on Wall Street.
Good morning, you're live.
Hi, good morning. The answer is Wednesday and Saturday.
You sure?
Yes.
It sounds like you're asking me as compared to telling me.
No, I'm telling you.
You sure?
Yes.
Seems like you made a phone call.
Congratulations, you are the winner. What's your name? Where are you calling us from?
I'm Sindra Perez, and I'm calling from Lucas Street.
All right, great. Well, you are a winner today, Miss Perez. When are you going to dinner?
I'm not sure. My husband gave me the answer, so I guess it'll be his decision.
Okay, makes sense. And I guess it will be both of you going.
And I guess you'll have to take him on that account.
Oh, that's lovely. All right, well, enjoy the dinner.
Okay.
To the Perez's.
Give me your first name again.
Sindra.
Sindra?
Yes.
Spell it for me.
Sindra.
Say that again?
Sindra.
Sindra Perez. Thank you. Congrats.
Okay.
Bye. All right, so we have a winner. Lucky couple going to dinner. That's lovely.
That's right.
It's a nice date.
Oh, there you go. All
a family that eats together stays together.
That's right. Yeah, that makes sense. that makes a whole lot of sense right there. You know what they say about the belly is what they say is the road to the heart. Something to that effect.
Yeah, man. Why not?
Congratulations once again. And that's Sindra Perez, dinner for two at the Grill Master. Congratulations. So it's Good Morning Grenada. We are here. It's raining down in my area. What about yours? All right. So we're moving on with the program this morning. Once again, big shout outs to our friends on the Facebook Live. Remember, continue to share. Monet, I haven't seen you in a minute. I see you are on this morning on the Facebook Live. Good morning to you. Where have you been? Great to have you back nonetheless. All right. Where are we headed now?
That was a question for me?
Well, I asked the question.
You're the producer, my guy. Let's do it. Whatever you want to go into now. It's fine.
What we're gonna do right about now, okay? Let's take a listen into the swearing of cabinet ministers. All right. Well, let's discuss this a little bit, shall we? I couldn't help but to cringe. By the way, couldn't help to cringe every time I would hear the term, "I swear my allegiance to the Queen." Yeah. Conversation for maybe another time. You know what I'm saying? In this modern era, where so many countries have expressed their desire to move on from, of course, our colonial past. Here we are. But I understand everything takes time. You know what I'm saying? Everything takes time. But before we get into the swearing-in ceremony in particular, in a recent interview with BBC, Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell shares his views on the Queen's role as head of state So let's listen in on that for a little bit. Let's come back and chit chat. It's Good Morning Grenada. So let's go to that clip where Deacon Mitchell was speaking to the BBC and his thoughts on the Queen as head of state here in Grenada. Once again, let's go over to Master Control. Let's get that clip lined up.
Eager eyes in the UK are watching to see if Grenada will soon join the list of Caribbean countries willing to remove Queen Elizabeth II as the country's head of state. This question was put to Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell during a recent interview with BBC's Newsday. He said while this is surely not a time for constitutional reform in Grenada, he sees no reason for having a ceremonial head of state and an elected head of state at the same time.
To be frank, Grenada has had two constitutional referendums in recent times, both of which failed spectacularly. And so I'm not so sure that immediately pursuing such a third constitutional reform at this immediate time makes sense. I can say to you that certainly philosophically, I see no reason for having a ceremonial head of state and an elected head of state. It's really an expensive and, in my view, pointless and cumbersome governance structure for a small island. I'm more interested in constitutional reform, in my view, that makes the government more efficient, less costly, and more responsive to our citizens.
Prime Minister Mitchell says his focus for Grenada at this time, as a small country, is to let the people's voice be heard on other issues.
We want our voice to say that we too deserve to be economically developed. We too deserve to have a high standard of living. And we too deserve not a figment, but a real opportunity to determine our destiny. And I think too often, even now, a lot of the attitudes towards small island developing states by much larger countries smacks of a colonial mentality.
The Grenadian leader also pointed to some of the challenges facing small island developing states. He says with the little resources smaller countries have, it is difficult for countries such as Grenada to thrive due to some international policies.
The truth is that small islands, we don't have the resources, we don't have the size, we don't have the economies of scale that very powerful countries have. And so oftentimes we have to resort to creative ways to grow economy and to make sure citizens have a high standard of living. But many of the policies pursued by the developed world make it extremely difficult for our banking system, restrictions on travel in terms of visa requirements to enter larger countries, makes it very difficult oftentimes for smaller countries to be able to survive, much less compete. And what that means is if it leads to poverty and extreme cases of poverty in the small islands, it destabilizes the society.
For GBN News, I am Rena Pett-Thomas reporting.
Thank you so very much, Rena Pierre, with that report right there. So this is where we at. I don't foresee a change anytime soon. I don't foresee, based on his articulation, I don't foresee us heading in that direction anytime soon. In fact, he has gone on record to state that there are other more pressing issues right about now. So I agree or disagree, but that's where our leader stands right about now with regard to severing ties with the Queen. As for now, what's your thoughts, Missy?
Well, my thoughts is that we definitely need more information, I think, before I comment on that. Yeah, we can get into that conversation a little later on. We do have some guests in the building. They are going to be speaking about Saving Brains Grenada. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back to have that conversation with some guests from Windref. All right?
Total is one of the world's largest oil companies with a top quality line of lubricants. Total Lubricants has a full product line from passenger cars, motorcycle, heavy industrial equipment, mining, trucking, agriculture, and manufacturing machines and vehicles. Total Lubricants, winning championships in motorsports, including Formula One and World Rally Championships. Total Lubricants are available at all Rubis service stations, leading automotive shops, and distributed by Huggins.
the world, we need to be prepared for natural disasters like storms and hurricanes, even outside of the season. I'm sure you'll agree that keeping our loved ones, homes, and businesses safe is important. So, I came up with a few quick tips to help you stay safe. First, make a family disaster plan and ensure that everyone in your household is familiar and comfortable with it. Remember to add batteries and flashlights to your emergency kit. Now, for electrical safety. Familiarize yourself with your electrical panel, as it may be necessary to switch off the power during a storm or flood. Make sure you install a transfer or isolation switch to prevent your generator feeding electricity to Grenlec's line. If trees are too close to power lines, call Grenlec at 237 for advice. By following these easy steps, you will be well on your way to being hurricane ready. Don't be caught off guard by natural disasters. Prepare now. For more information, visit grenlec.com.
Introducing Color by Sissons. 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 Color by Sissons.
Please be advised that our office has been relocated to Steele's Commercial Complex, Grandance St. George. We at CGI, Consumers Guarantee Insurance Company Limited, look forward to serving you at our new location. Call us on telephone number 440-0217 or visit our website www.insurecgi.com.
Vaccine safety is always a top priority. Like other vaccines, the COVID-19 vaccines being developed have been through the same trial phases and rigorous process required for all vaccines. Global efforts on the development of the vaccines are built on existing research from previous coronaviruses like MERS and SARS-1. As COVID-19 vaccines are approved for their broad use in the population, be reassured that they will continue to be monitored to identify any adverse events. Your safety is our top priority. Vaccines bring us closer. Choose to get vaccinated.
Welcome back to Good Morning Grenada. We are here, Missy Chrissy, Gary, Mr. Smooth, and we have special guests in the building. They are joining us from the Windriff, and we have our guest this morning, Dr. Barbara London and Miss Jesma Noel. Good morning to you. Welcome to Good Morning Grenada.
Morning. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us a little bit about Windruff, because we would have heard the name before, some people, especially if they've been down in SGU for some sort of time. What does Windruff actually stand for?
Well, Windruff stands for Windward Islands Research and Education Foundation. It's a not-for-profit research institution affiliated with St. George's University.
Okay. And when you say affiliated, what does that mean? What is the relationship with SGU? Because I know there's an office at the campus, right? At the True Blue campus?
There is. That's where the office is, on campus. When the founder of St. George's University, I think it was in the very early days of SGU, universities do research, and so he recruited a wonderful researcher Cal McPherson to be the director. He's still the director. And Windruff has grown from a very small institution to now managing millions of dollars in grant money.
And in terms of Saving Brains Grenada, we're seeing the Saving Brains Grenada Spotlight Initiative. Tell us about the project and what it aims to do.
Well, Saving Brains Grenada is one of the funded projects through Windruff. It was funded by the people of Canada, Canada Grand Challenges. It's been going since 2014. We've been working on providing adults with alternatives for raising healthy children.
Okay.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Miss Noel, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay. So you said adults with raising healthy children. Can you go into a little bit more detail as to some of the practices? Because, of course, there are lots of parents and guardians and teachers listening. What are some of the practical examples of raising healthier children as it relates to the Saving Brains project?
Well, as you probably know, Chrislyn, there are millions of children all over the world who don't reach their full potential because of brain development issues. And brain development can be affected by lots of things, but one of the things that really affects brain development is violence. So because we've been working on nonviolence towards children for so many years, the Spotlight Initiative folks at UNICEF asked us to help make these PSAs. One of the practices, as you asked, is exactly the theme of this campaign, which is to STAR. STAR means stop, take a breath, and relax. And it's one of the first things we teach when we're teaching raising healthy children.
Okay. So what you're saying is that violence, when children observe violence in the home or in their communities, it does severely impact brain development. And the Spotlight Initiative is really working towards better development for children. Is that what we're hearing?
The Spotlight Initiative, well, Just May, you want to go ahead and talk about the Spotlight Initiative?
Sure. So the Spotlight Initiative aims to eliminate all forms of violence against women and girls. So this initiative was implemented in partnership with UNICEF, Windruff, and Grenada Spotlight Initiative, and I'm talking about our initiative of PSAs. So we were tasked to create creative, memorable, and impactful slogans, as well as PSAs that would promote positive alternatives to violence. Dr. Landon, would you like to speak a little bit more about that?
Sure. So we're a little bit late to the Spotlight Initiative. A lot of really amazing people have been working on the Spotlight Initiative in Grenada for several years. It's funded through UNICEF very generously by the European Union, and it's a worldwide initiative to eliminate violence against women and girls. I think that we were asked to participate because we've been working on violence towards children. But I do want to emphasize. So I want to emphasize that we're part of the Spotlight Initiative, but only fairly recently, in that we were funded to make these public service announcements.
Okay, so it's a collaborative effort between not just Windruff, but other institutions as well.
Absolutely.
There we go. Okay. So, I mean, tell us why this is important, because of course, we're hearing now, and I'm sure listeners and viewers first time are hearing about this type of brain development issues with children who observe violence or experience violence while they're growing up. But how serious is that issue in Grenada? Do you have any statistics to back up so we understand that we really need to work on bettering, combating this issue ASAP?
Well, according to UNICEF and a lot of other global initiatives, about 85 to 95% of children in the Caribbean have been exposed to violence. Violence in whatever form, whether it's something that they've observed or something that they've experienced.
That's a very high percentage.
Yeah.
You said 85%.
Yes.
And when you say violence, what types of violence are we referring to that they've observed or experienced?
Well, they could be experiencing beatings and licks. They could be observing beatings and licks towards family members. And sometimes it's in school. They might experience violence. The younger the child, the more impacted his or her brain is.
Okay. And what happens, because I know that psychology is really your background, what happens to the brain? So let's say that a child has experienced severe beatings at home, or they're witnessing severe beatings. What happens in the brain of that child? Let's say the child is 5 years old. What happens in that brain at that point in time?
The most primitive part of the brain is responsible for fight or flight or freeze. So there's no thinking going on. There's no problem solving going on. There's no connection with other people going on. So when a child is exposed to violence, the brain goes into that fight, flight, or freeze mode and stays there. And over time, that means that the rest of the brain doesn't develop as well as it could.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
I'm simplifying if there are brain scientists out there.
Well, yeah, we need it simple so that everyone listening and watching can understand. Now, I know that this can be a difficult one for people because when you think about how children are typically disciplined in Grenada, you would have some people saying that it's absolutely okay to beat their children, and some people saying not. You know, how would you tackle this type of cultural issue through the Spotlights initiative? Is there any provision for that?
Well, we use a curriculum called Conscious Discipline, and what Conscious Discipline says is focus on what you want more of. Whatever you focus on, you get more of. So we don't really focus on the violence. We focus on the alternatives to violence, which is where STAR comes from. I just to refresh, my favorite quote recently is Frederick Douglass, famous American, who said, "It's easier to raise strong children than it is to repair broken men." So we are at Saving Brains Grenada and the CCCN, we are completely focused on prevention.
Okay. Any comment to that, Ms. Noel? Okay, I don't know if we're having some technical difficulties there.
No, there was just a bit of internet connection. I'm just seeing that.
Okay. Any comment as it relates to this cultural issue that we have as compared to, you know, this prevention initiative that we're seeing now that you're working on?
I think that it's very important, and Windriff is actually working on another project that is exploring physical punishment, corporal punishment, and it's, like you said, Dr. Landon, 85%. It's a lot. And when we're out there, you know, looking at, just one moment, could you hear my alarm? I apologize for that.
We're hearing you loud and clear. You can go ahead.
Right. So, you know, being out there doing the work and seeing just how prevalent corporal punishment and physical punishment is, it's definitely important for us to be on board with initiatives that try to reduce violence. Like Dr. Landon was saying, conscious discipline is one of them, where you're not focusing on the violence, but you're providing alternatives to the violence. And that's where the STAR comes in. Stop, take a deep breath, and relax.
Okay, I like that. STAR. You said stop, take a deep breath, and relax. Tell us a little bit more about this acronym here.
Oh, I guess, okay. So it comes from conscious discipline, which, as I said, is the curriculum that we teach. But more importantly, we have a big, beautiful yellow star on the Grenada flag. And so we thought that using the star message and pointing to the star would be a helpful reminder. The problem with the violence towards children is that it normalizes violence. And so when children grow up, they think violence is fine. Violence towards women is fine. Violence towards other children is fine. So rather than react when upset, one can take a deep breath and have time to think and use those higher centers of the brain instead of the fight or flight part of the brain.
Okay, so that sounds like it's useful not just for children, but also for adults.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And we have a very simple nursery rhyme that teaches STAR. We played it for a local artist, Electrify, and then it works.
Yeah, we actually, it played just a while ago, a few minutes ago before the interview right here. Yes, Looney Spark and Electrify.
Yes. So when we played it for them, they said we can make that more Grenadian, and they produced the jingle, which is the background for all of the video PSAs as well.
Excellent. And we're going to be seeing loads of other PSAs, not just that one by Looney Spark and Electrify. Give us a quick overview as we're about to wrap of some of the PSAs that you've produced.
Go ahead, Jesma. Jesma was part of our production team and was there for all of it.
So we created PSAs that are likely to happen in Grenada as well as the region. So, for instance, we have a scenario where a woman is being harassed in public, an unruly classroom, a squabble at home. So we chose these scenarios that we found could kind of capture instances in Grenada where violence can arise. And well, you guys will see it when the PSA comes out. But in the moment, someone reminds someone to be a star. They point to the star on the flag, and they stop, they take a deep breath, and they relax.
Excellent. Well, congratulations so far, and keep up the good work on the entire program. We definitely look forward to hearing more about it. Let me know if there's anything you wanted to say as we close off.
Well, we hope everybody will be singing the jingle. And we also want to acknowledge that stopping and taking a deep breath is just the first step. So if people want more information, they can email us at, oh gosh, what's the email address? I think it's cdgrenada@gmail.com.
Okay, so that's cdgrenada@gmail.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because obviously being a star is just the first step for preventing violence, but it's the most important one.
Right. So that's CD as in conscious discipline, right? So C as in ABC, and D, the one after C, Grenada@gmail.com. I know sometimes when you're listening, some letters sound so similar. Alrighty, we're about to play the PSA again. It's coming up in this ad break. Thank you so much to Dr. Landon and Ms. Noel for joining us this morning. Have a great day.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
They are the few, the strong, the elite. Grenada, get ready as our sporting gladiators go for gold and glory at the World Championships. Follow every throw, stride, and jump from July 15th to the 24th. Capture the action daily on GBN television. It's the World Championships. The dream continues.
James is going to win it. Are you a small business and would like your business to grow? Do you have an event, products, or services that people should know about? Be wise. Advertise. Book your spot on GBN Shopping Guide. Be part of Grenada's biggest advertising medium, the Grenada Broadcasting Network. Call our sales department now on 440-2446 or 440-3033 or GBN plus the number sign. Email us at sales@gbn.gd. Special conditions apply.
It's mentioned the wing high, then you have things like manual. Force combat, we have the low folder.
It is kind of like the same man, and it's just different name for the same kind of thing.
And last but not least, I just want to say to all the men who saw me, call me, and ask for a piece of cake. I'm baking this weekend.
Join us Fridays at 8 on GBN Television, K105 FM, GBN's Facebook page and YouTube channel for We Culture.
My granddaughter.
Back inside. Good morning, Grenada. Welcome. It's Missy, Chrissy, and Gary, Mr. Smooth, in your company. 21 minutes on to 8 in the morning time. We are here, and I'm sure some people are eager to comment on some of what might have been discussed, right, Gary?
Definitely, and we are with those comments. You all know the number.
Yeah. All right. So stay close to the phone lines. Of course, we also played a clip earlier on about Mr. Deacon Mitchell, our Prime Minister, commenting on Grenada being part of being an independent nation under British. So that's something as well. And we have a few other things to mention. Gary, you ready for us?
Well, what has been on the lips of many Grenadians leading up to yesterday's swearing-in ceremony, the composition of cabinet that took place yesterday. All right. So the suspense and guessing ended. Effectively. So some new ministries were created too, like the ministry that Andy Williams is charged with leading right about now, which is Mobilization, Implementation, and Transformation Ministry. Now, it's going to take a while for some of you, including myself, to get used to the names of some of those ministries because they are relatively new, all right? And listening to Deacon during the swearing-in speech of the different ministers yesterday, he specifically created those ministries to be more in line with their plans, with their efforts, and some of the promises made on the campaign trail. So we definitely see a Deacon Mitchell, a Prime Minister, who is hitting the ground rolling. Well, tell you what, Missy, let's go to that clip, and when we come back, we'll definitely chit-chat some more on that.
Maybe in the meantime, you can tell us about the two big announcements coming out of the ceremony.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, the two big announcements coming out. And Deacon Mitchell went on to speak about the teachers. All right. And he also made a reference to the the diplomats and how he would be recalling the diplomats. So I'm going to give Tims a chance to pull the previous clip. Once he has done that successfully, we're going to go to that because I really want to get into that topic separate and different to, of course, the previous clip. So I don't know if my friend.
Now, this is what the country's parliament would look like from tomorrow, following the swearing-in ceremony for the ministers who will man the different ministries. First up, we have Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell. He will serve in his capacity as Minister for Finance, National Security, Home Affairs, Public Administration, Information and Disaster Management. He is followed by Honorable Joseph Andel, who will serve in his capacity as Foreign Affairs Minister, Trade and Export Development. Tevin Andrew, Minister for State, or Minister for Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs and Local Government. Honorable Dennis Cornwall, he will serve as Minister for Infrastructure, Public Utilities, Physical Development, Civil Aviation and Transportation. Honorable Ron Redhead, he would serve as Minister of State with responsibility for youth and sport in the Ministry of Youth and Sport. Karine Zenel James, Minister for Climate Resilience, the Environment and Renewable Energy. Honorable Philip Telesford, Minister for Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs. Honorable Andy Williams, he will serve as Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation. Honorable Lennox Andrew, he will serve as Minister for Economic Development, Planning, Tourism and ICT. Senator David Andrew, he has been appointed as Minister for Education, Youth and Sport. Senator Jonathan Lacrette, Minister for Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs. Senator Adrian Thomas, he will serve as Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Cooperatives. Senator Claudette Joseph, she has been appointed as Attorney General, Minister with responsibility for legal affairs, labor and consumer affairs. Senator Gloria Thomas, Minister of State in the Ministry of Social Development and Gender Affairs, in the Ministry of Social and Community Development and Gender Affairs. Quince Britton, he has been appointed as Senator in the Parliament of Grenada. The swearing-in ceremony of these new ministers took place just a few minutes ago here at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. This swearing-in ceremony took place 1 week following the June 23rd general election. Reporting from the Kirani James Athletic Stadium, I am Chrislyn John for GBN News.
Thank you so very much. Yes, indeed. So a lot has been, taken away from yesterday's swearing-in ceremony. But we're going to get your thoughts. I mean, are you guys happy with the assignment of the different ministers? I'm particularly pleased with Persuader's position. I don't know about you guys, but I like his position. So maybe we can take some phone calls. Let's get your feedback. How you feel about the appointment of the different ministers? If you agree, disagree, as the case might be. Yeah.
All right. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Missy, and morning, Gary, Mr. Smooth. Mr. Smooth, I want to agree with you in the sense that I sat down there listening and watching, and the parts where, I have no problem with generally the rest of the situation, but that part I swear allegiance to the Queen and her Orchestra and so on. I think we should allot a morning to discuss it in more elaborately, because And then you said something about, based on the Prime Minister's interview with the BBC, and indeed he said that's not something that he would attend to now because of what is,
what he deems is more pressing. Yeah.
Yeah. But you said that can't do nothing. I mean, we, the people, if we really want that happen, it has to happen. But we have to be reasonable. And I think we have to find a way quickly. Barbados did it because the constitution was slightly different. They were able to amend this thing in Parliament, and then now they're in the process of changing their constitution. They started just last week. So,
nice.
If they, it's unfortunate that the Austin government was not trustworthy in the attempt to have constitutional reform, because we could have remedied that, but I mean, who trusts that? I mean, there were so many inconsistencies in the administration. But if they're very serious, this is an opportunity where they could join with the government now, and because you do something in Parliament and then just have a quick referendum with the people. At least we could do it step by step, change the name, because it's embarrassment. I remember in 1994, when the late George Bizan, Honorable George Bizan, stole allegiance when he was appointed Prime Minister. I called this very radio station, the Point program, and said how, I mean, I was disgusted with this, and I remember what the main host, and I could call him Troy Garvey, ridiculed me and tried to explain to me, well, we're in the Commonwealth, and we this, and we that. And I said, no, there are other countries in the Commonwealth that does not swear allegiance to the Queen. We have to do more than just change the name, because when you check in terms of the institution that's still like Her Majesty's prison, and we have the dollar, and we have what we will need to change those things. But I think we could do things incrementally, and the first thing we should do is to stop swearing allegiance to the Queen. I think the Honorable Chester Humphrey used to not swear allegiance to the Queen. I believe so. Subject to correction. He had some way he was able to, something like that. I'm not too sure. I remember, because my memory is kind of fading. But certainly, if we the people want that to really think, we can get change. But we have to know how to do it, and do it in decent. We have to do it decently and with respect. And finally, in terms of the brain thing, just quickly the brain thing. There's so many children I see damaged, and I see even adults damaged because they had a bad beginning. I mean, I've seen little boys being mistreated by their parents, mainly the mother, and you can, most time, I'm not hitting out at women, but most time you can see out of frustration, and we need to do something about that and show that children are not destroyed from the beginning. It's happening in preschool. A few years ago, I spoke about that. I had an office near preschool, and there was a morning where a teacher, whatever you call her, beat a little boy almost, maybe to mercy, because he wet the toilet seat. A little boy, in preschool. We need to do what.
Let's move on to the next caller, because we're really short on time this morning, but I really appreciate your comment, eh?
All right, no problem.
All right, thank you. All right. Yes, we hear. Thanks a lot, caller. You've made some really valid points. Once again, good morning to the folks on the Facebook. Claudette as AG, according to Ernesto, was a great choice. But some people had sleepless nights because of a lot of things in the dark will come to light. People will be held responsible for the misappropriation of the people's coppers. All right. Thanks a lot for your contribution, Ernesto. That's for the folks under the Facebook Live.
All right. We have another caller on the line. Good morning.
Good morning.
We can hear you loud and clear. What's your contribution this morning?
Well, my contribution is that I really like the convention and how everything went on yesterday. But, I did not hear Chrislyn play. I don't know. I mean, I heard the others, but I did not hear. So I don't know what's happening with her or anything like that. So
you mean in terms of opposition?
Huh?
In terms of what?
Position.
Oh, okay. All right, thanks a lot.
All right.
Thank you. I must say, one thing I noticed that was really good is that they had a transition lead. I don't know if it was something that was done in the past, but I think it does a good job of supporting ministers, because let's be honest, lots of times ministers are leading a ministry that they aren't necessarily versed in. Yes, they are going to be briefed by the PSs and the technical officers and so forth, but it's also good to see that they are supported by people who are well versed in the field as it relates to the respective ministries, and I thought that was definitely commendable.
Yeah. That's definitely, and I've alluded to that in the past, that you don't have to be jack of all trade, necessarily.
Yeah. Let's see what this caller has to say. Good morning.
Good morning. First of all, I must say that at times we all give one person too much time. Many times we try and we're not getting. Well, I'm pleased with whatever happened, because whatever happened in this nation, it wasn't man's will, it was God's will. So we got to be satisfied with whatever is happening, and at least I realized, hearing from that new government, I didn't know him anyway, but he sounds very wise and intelligent, and whatever he's doing, I see good coming out of him, and that's the kind of people, when God plants a tree, you see good fruits stemming from. So thank you, and I wish them all the best, and that they will continue to seek the nation building at heart and the people. That is what they're there about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, and I'm with you, caller. Yeah, sorry, but callers, please, you call in. Let's get concise, to the point. There are other people trying to get through as well. Andy Williams, Ministry of Mobilization, Implementation and Transportation. He explained that position, and so did the Prime Minister as well. That position is rather interesting, because based on what was explained is that everything goes through Andy. He is the one pretty much in charge of checks and balances.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Let's see what this caller has to say. Good morning.
Right. Gary and Missy, I love both of all you. I think, as I told Gary previously, I like his style, and I think Missy has a nice voice. No, I just want to congratulate my friend Joseph Andel for winning his seat. He has worked hard. As a matter of fact, he was my compatriot at the TAMCC Teacher Education Department, and I knew he would do a good job. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Joseph Andel is Minister of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development.
All right. Another call on the line. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you guys. Wonderful. I think it was just yesterday there were folks, or 2 days ago, folks complaining about the length of time being taken to name the cabinet. Only 2 days had gone in the working week, and people didn't have the patience. And I did mention that probably they needed to realign the ministry. It wasn't just a matter of taking somebody from somewhere and putting them somewhere else. The government campaigned and made certain promises, and they needed to realign the ministries to reflect what they wanted to do moving forward. And this has come out to be so. Now, the matter of the Queen, I do not know that a new government like that, with so much on their hands, want to get themselves bogged down with constitutional things right away. I think there are many more important bread and butter things that they promise that they need to focus on delivering for the people of Grenada before they go into those things. On the matter of the Governor General, for instance, the problem we have with the Governor General is that we make it too political. We can have a neutral person, a good public servant, a respected elder who can get the support and respect of both party of people of all persuasions in Grenada. But what we see happening, and I hope it doesn't happen again, that you find someone who is an old party faithful or loyal or somebody you think that needs to be paid back, and they give them a job for life. Okay. And to me, we are corrupting this thing more than anything else. So what I would like to see happen, I think Trinidad is elected by both sides, but we don't even have to have an election. We can find a neutral person. And so we are the ones, the name, Her Majesty, and all these things, these are just names. These are just ceremonial things we are saying. But on the ground, we can make it work for us if we are sincere and honest and patriotic and want this thing to work. So trying to do it now, to me, is not really necessary, but we can make it work for us better if we choose to. And I hope that we'll start that in that direction this time around. Thank you very much.
If we can be convinced of anything the Prime Minister have said, is that his mandate, his drive to create a leadership of transparency. All right? So we can, if he continues along that same vein, I would imagine that he would choose a Governor General for what you've just mentioned.
Yeah, I just hope that it will happen. It's going to be difficult and challenging to break from the norm, but I think we have to start somewhere, and I trust he will.
All right, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
All right, 3 minutes on to 8 o'clock in the morning time.
Yes, it's Good Morning Grenada. Here we are, and we'll continue to take your phone calls if you so decide to give us a call. You all know the number. We got our friends.
We have to make it really quick then. All right.
Yeah. Look at the time.
I just said 3 minutes to 8, and you're like,
yeah.
Good morning. You're live. We just have a few seconds for your contribution.
Yeah. Good morning. When one becomes a citizen of Britain, you have an option. Either you swear allegiance to the Queen or you take an oath. All right? It is not mandatory, all right, on becoming a citizen of Britain. All right? Whether by naturalization or otherwise, that you have to swear allegiance to the Queen and so on. So I just want us to be aware of that.
Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you so very much, caller. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, definitely a good point there. Last one, just a few seconds. Good morning. You're live. All right. So it's important for you to turn down wherever you're listening to us. Can you hear us? All right, we're going to have to end that call. Thanks for calling. Thanks for all your contributions this morning on Good Morning Grenada. It is a weekend. It is Friday, and it's a month-end Friday as well. So we're hoping you enjoy your weekend as we lock off Good Morning Grenada for today. Gary, any final words?
Just that you guys have a wonderful weekend, okay? Stay safe, and I think Grenada, we are in a good place. Let's continue to keep that vibe going, and we'll be okay. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Catch me on Hot 98.
Alrighty. And of course, I'm still going to be live on K105.5 FM. And you can stay tuned to GBN TV for the programming there as well. Have a great weekend, all.